welcome back to the channel. And it's Wednesday, and tonight it's Whiskey Wednesday. So cheers to everybody. There's me whiskey rattling away on a bit of ice. I'm looking forward to this. It's been a busy day, so yeah, we'll have a bit of fun. Changed my setup tonight. I thought with the golden aspect of whiskey, then I'll sell it all out a little bit differently, try and chill it down a little bit, and put out some gold. So yeah, cheers 365 as well. Great suggestion. We'll see what happens. There is no plan whatsoever. I've got a mixture of what have I got out over the back there. There's 1 gram gold bar, another 1 gram gold bar, 1 gram gold bar. You can just about see it there. That's a 1/10 Krugerrand, I think. All these, a mixture of sovereigns and 1/4 ounce Britannias. There's another one here, which you can't really see, but it is there. We've got 1 ounce of gold in the middle, Britannia, another sovereign, and my silver Britannia, which basically is with me all the time, except when I'm in bed or in the shower. Anyway, so I want to do this every Wednesday. I want to call it Whiskey Wednesday. One, to have a bit of fun. Two, just to see what I want to talk about. If I want to go down a certain line, just let my hair down a little bit. Not be too serious, too worried about things, and talk about subjects. Talk about why I'm doing this, why I even got into all this in the first place. And yeah, I'm not one for great speculation, but on a Whiskey Wednesday day, depending on how the whiskey goes, I'm quite happy to go down that speculation route just for a bit of fun. Don't take it all seriously, because as you know, as I always say, what do I know? I know nothing. So I thought I'd put a little candle in the middle as well, just to create a bit more atmosphere. Yeah, welcome to Whiskey Wednesday. So, if you're wondering, how did I get there? How did I get into all of this? And I'm a relatively new stacker, collector, as I've said in a previous video. Yeah, I unfortunately inherited some money for the loss of my mother a few years ago now, which was, yeah, really difficult. Didn't expect anything from in an inheritance way. Up until then, I've always been self-sufficient, wanted to do my own thing, believed in a certain system of doing things, brought up that way, and yeah, faced with not only the pretty hard time of going through losing a parent, but then at the end of it, after finding out that we inherited a little bit of money, so I sat down and thought, oh my God, what am I going to do with this? Now, what a lovely position to be in, eh? Because I'm sure lots of people will go, yeah, we could do this, do that, do this, do that. Anyway, I thought, well, I didn't think I was going to get it. I wasn't relying on getting anything, so why not put it to work and try and invest it into certain bits and pieces. So that's what I did. But I found myself going down a massive rabbit hole, as I've said before, and up until that point I was ticking along, thought I had a bit of a basic understanding. Well, if I'm really honest, I didn't have any understanding of what money was and how it worked, because I was working hard, just like all of us, just getting on really, whatever getting on is. And that was quite quite an eye opener, to be honest. And then I entered the world of investment, and yes, at the back of my mind there was always, gold. Gold's a good investment. When you think about it, if you probably ask most people, if you had some money, what would you invest it in? And they would probably say the stock market. That's a bit of an easy answer, really, for most of us. And gold, really. I know some people might say watches. Watches have been at the forefront of investment. Property, obviously, but by God, you need a lot of money to invest in property nowadays. So, yeah, I went down this rabbit hole and of information on YouTube, trying to find out what's the best thing to do. And I stumbled across crypto. One of the first things I stumbled across, so it was all over the internet a few years ago, right around, shortly after the problems of the world crisis a few years ago. All sorts of investments were being pumped and spoken up, talked up. This is the right thing to do. So, yes, I looked at that, and that opened just one big, massive rabbit hole of all sorts, absolutely all sorts. It drove me insane, drove my wife insane. I fell for all the FUD, all the hype, all the pumping, all the this, all the that. It's very easy to do. I really feel sorry for knowing what I know now. God, I would have done things differently. But anyway, I decided to have a little dabble. Best thing I did was just get a little bit of a dabble and then follow up my interest, really. And I just consumed, as I've said in previous videos, consumed. And boy, when you start consuming at that sort of rate, you can end up really getting addicted to it, which was crazy. But on that path, it brought me to gold, and then brought me to silver. And one of the fascinating things I found out, was the underlying message between the information coming out about gold, silver, crypto. I'm personally only into Bitcoin now, and segregate it from crypto as a rule. Some stocks and shares and bits and pieces, they all shared a similar message, and that was that the financial system, currently the global financial system, which is basically US dollar run, was probably coming to end of its journey. But then that opened, and I thought, well, what the hell's all that about then? What do you mean, end of journey? So, anyway, cut long story short, because I will drabble on a little bit, but cut long story short, that made me think about, hold on a minute. What I truly need to try and understand is, what is money? What is money? I've never thought about it ever before in all my life, other than it's the money I get when I exchange my time and energy to do a service, job, whatever you want to call it, for someone else that's willing to pay me for it. And then they give me that exchange currency, the pound in the UK, for that service. Hopefully, I've done a good job. That was money to me, and that's all I never ever needed to worry about, because that provided for my family, paid the bills, paid for this, paid for that. But I thought, what is money? There's a lot of talk about, there's more to money than meets the eye. And so I went down that rabbit hole as well. And boy, I think the conclusion out of all of this, what I'm trying to say is, it is so easy to get lost up your own backside with your own reality and your own way of thinking and your own, this is good, this is bad. But the learning process is a continual one, and one of the biggest lessons I've learned in my very short journey in this is to find information that makes logical sense, and that takes quite a while to try and work out really in your own mind, because you can definitely get lost and trapped in your own ego, that's for sure. This Highland Park is gorgeous. It's one of my favourites, to be fair. Nice and smooth, loads of ice, nice and cold. It is very easy to get lost and trapped. Lost and trapped with your own ego and end up following and consuming information that you only want to believe in. And that's probably one of the most important things I've learned, to be fair, because it can sidetrack you, you can miss a point, you can end up going all in on something and then regret it. So yeah, I quickly learned that from all of this, yes, the financial system seems to be in a massive pickle at the moment. It is some sort of, the way things have been going for years and years and years and years would seem logically to possibly start to come towards an end of that era. That's the great way that I like to look at it. That's not to say it's going to be a catastrophe. And my job was and has been and will be and will continue to be, what can I do to try and work out in between all the FUD and the, excuse my language, bullshit that is fed out there into the multiverse of the internet. What can I do to try and help myself be a part of an old system that's changing very quickly, realize the possibility of what a new system could look like? How does that affect what I'm trying to do on a day-to-day basis? How does that affect what I'm trying to invest in long term, short term? Yeah, and so on and so on and so on. And that was my challenge, and I'm so pleased that I've learned so much about myself, about money, about what I do, what I don't do, what I believed in. Conspiracy, consumerism, ego. It's amazing. It doesn't matter what route you go down, whatever you want to look at in life. There's the scammers, there's the legit people, there's people that will try and deceive, and on and on and on and on and on. And it's my job to try and pick my way through all that noise and bullshit and come up with the best solution for me and my family. And that's hard to do. I'm fortunate enough to, not totally fortunate, but I'm fortunate enough to be at the back end of my career, which is allowing me a little bit more time. My kids are off hand. So I've got a little bit more time to consume and read and learn about different stuff. I've noticed, great, I've got 30 subscribers on this channel, but I've noticed the age bracket. I think something like 25 to 35 is the highest percentage, and I sit there and I think, wow, it's almost my oldest boy's age, and I think, like, I've got time to consume this. He hasn't, and I'm sure you guys haven't. It's a busy world out there. You've got responsibilities. You're flying around like there's no tomorrow. There is so much distraction for us to carry on consuming with adverts, with this story, this policy. This is better, that's better. It's to try and keep on top of what's possibly best for you is really difficult. So yeah, I'm blessed, that's for sure. That is for sure. But my message is, take your time. Don't make rash decisions. Have a look at why certain channels, influencers, politicians, anyone in any, in media, in this and that, have a deep think of, why are these people saying this? Why is another classic? Here we go. This could go anywhere, this conversation. Another classic, which often, it is something that has always buzzed through my head, like inflation. What's inflation, for God's sake? What's all this inflation? What's fiscal money? What's monetary money? What's a central bank? Is that different to my local commercial bank? What's GDP? What's deficits on treasury? Treasury reports. What does that mean? You just can't learn it. And I see the attraction of certain channels where you're just flicking through, something catches your eye, and you go, oh crikey, that's what that means. Well, does it? Does it? Are they saying this to get you to buy something, or are they saying this just because they believe in it? It doesn't mean it's the truth. Does that really resonate in you? Does that mean anything? So when you're sitting there thinking, even if you've got any spare money to buy a precious metal, a stock or share, something to do with property, something to do with, I don't know, crypto, if you're into that, or Bitcoin, or, anything, watches, even if you're lucky enough to have some spare money, then, wow, you've got to take your time. You've got to spend a bit of time educating yourself, which is what I will go on and on and on and on about. It's took me maybe a little bit longer because I'm older, but it's a little bit of wisdom, I haven't been. I've had to learn the hard way in my crazy life, and one of the greatest things as well to learn about, and that's, when you seriously look at money, are we living in a credit society? Does credit rule the world's financial system? How does credit work for you? Does it work against you? There's so many questions. God forbid anyone is thinking about borrowing money to invest into certain things. That's a fool's game. It's just such a fool's game unless you're one hell of a professional person that knows what they're doing and has a fallback, and it's not going to cost you your family, your house, your anything. I would never wouldn't personally say that's the right way to go. But when you look deeper into into the financial system, it's a different level. It's rife. It's absolutely rife as anything. Borrow credit. It's nuts. So I'm not surprised we're in a bit of a pickle, and the state of it is getting worse. But I have faith, and the reason, not in a biblical way, I have faith because history has always prevailed. Mankind's always prevailed. We've always got on. Whether the conditions now are very different historically to how things have been, it's another question. Will gold be in favour in 10 years' time, 20 years' time, if we go into this new digital world? Who knows? Will it have a use? Will it hold its value? Will it be of value? Will anyone have any money to invest in it in the same way as what we've always done and enjoyed. Same as said with silver and everything else, Bitcoin, crypto, bottles of wine, bottles of whiskey. You know, it's you got to open your eyes up to it all, and it is a bit scary because I'm not speculating, but history's great. It's fine when history repeats itself, but when it doesn't repeat itself and it takes a new turn, are you ready for that turn? Have you done everything that you can to possibly meet that change? Have you? You've got to ask yourself that question. Have you done it? Are you just going to put all your eggs in one basket, two baskets, and hope one of them comes off? Fine. Hopefully it does, if that's the case. But history's great. History, when everything's cool and there's loads of credit around, there's a load of money around, history's great. It will be a great educational factor in going forward and using that historical data. The problem in my head always now is, well, what if that changes? Am I ready? Can I handle it? Well, I don't know, because I don't know what that change can be. I don't know because I'm not the one that controls how we all live at a monetary level. I'm not part of that gang. I've said it before, and I'm just not part of it. And most of us, well, the majority, 99.9999% of us, aren't either. But what we can do is try and look to the past for sense, and just remember that history, if anything, has taught us that things don't last forever, and there's always change, and that change happens. And I personally believe we are at that back end of an older way of how we've done stuff, and it's having its day. And now we've got to try and trust and believe in a handful of people to come up with a new way for us to carry on and do the same thing as what we've always done: work hard, get our things of value, and carry on living and have a life in whatever that means to you. So, but that's all out of my hands. But what I can do is try and educate myself and think, okay, I'd like this just in case, because if it continues, then things like gold and silver, if it's all got a use and it's got a value, then I want a part of it. So I have a part of it. Are there any companies that possibly are worth investing in for future products, for what's going on in the future? What sound companies out there that will go through this change and come out on the other side? Maybe they're worth investing in. Yeah, do that. The same with the whole crypto digital thing. It's early days with all that. And there's a great example, actually. It hasn't got a massive history, but if you look at the philosophy of what, I can only talk about Bitcoin because that's the only one I'm really interested in, of what it could stand for going forward, then it's got a chance. It's got a chance. It's just got a chance, just like everything else has got a chance, in my view, in my opinion. So, yeah, is it worth to dabble in that a bit? Yeah, it's for me. But these are the things that you have to try and work out, a nice spread. If you can spread, if you're interested in investing, I think the younger you can start, the better. 365 bangs on about it all the time, and he's dead right. If you can start, but the problem is now it's, what do I invest in, and how do I go about it? And that's the thing you've got to learn. Don't ignore stuff, because I tell you, throughout history, we've been probably, well, for me, I mean, you get blinded by consumerism and the hamster wheel of life, but all the other stuff that's changing in the background is changing in the background, and it becomes presented to us a little bit later. And then you hear oh, this person invested in this person invested in that, now they're multimillionaires and this and that, whatever turns your boat. Because they weren't ignoring the future. We can't ignore the future. If we ignore the future, then we're dumb. Well, I'm dumb. I'm an idiot. Don't ignore the past either. That's equally as important. But our future's very important now, and I care about the younger generation, because not purely just because, but I've got an avid interest in it because my kids are there. My kids are all in that generation, 20s, 20s, prime time, So yeah, I feel for you all. I really do. Anyway, wow, that was a bit of a rampant rant. I might have to. I'm not sure I can upload these videos for over a long period of time, so I might split it down and do it into a couple of parts. But yeah, I think I'm going to dedicate my Whiskey Wednesday. I drank that too quickly. I'm going to have a little drop more. I'm going to dedicate it to just me trying to bring across a little bit of I don't know what I'm trying to do really. It will all come out in time, but I just feel that I've got a bit of value, that it's my job and responsibility to try and put it across in a way that hopefully just one, even if one person gets it, and they can try and secure and build a better life for themselves through investment. If I've helped there, then fair play, great. This channel has succeeded. I've succeeded in what I'm trying to do. So yeah, I'll probably do this every Wednesday. Actually, I'll probably try and think of stuff. What I'd love to do is I want a bit of fun with it as well. I don't want it to be too serious. I love playing with my imagination, and I love speculating, and I love getting involved with all the crap. But I don't want that to be the serious side of the channel. But I don't think it hurts having a play, as long as we know we're playing, as long as we know that it's speculation, as long as we know that we, don't listen to me, listen to your bloody self. Because I can assure you, if you give yourself some time, and if you educate yourself and start listening and trying to work out in your own mind, your heart will not lie to you. Your head will lie like there's no tomorrow. You can marry something. You can marry an idea. I've done it, seen it, been there. Probably will do it again. I hope not. But you end up marrying an idea, and you lose sight of reality. It becomes dreamy, and that way you can get sidetracked and possibly miss another avenue and an opportunity to go down. So yeah, great sympathy. I think, I don't know, for me, the pinch is coming. There is, if you're honest with yourself and look around, you can see inflation's. Once you learn about inflation, you can see inflation's a bit of a nightmare for everybody, including governments at the moment. It's a big battle. How they're going to get over it, I really don't know. There's lots of speculation about, they're going to reset and do this and do that. Well, maybe they might do, quite possibly. It could make sense if you really logically look into it, if it's that bad, but none of us know if it's that bad. What I know is bad is my shopping's gone up, my bills have gone up, the price of a car is twice the price of my first house that I bought nowadays, which is frigging ridiculous. So what's going on there? You start asking those questions, and the only reason why I can be a little bit more probably pragmatic and passionate about it is like I'm 58. I remember what it was like when I was, 20, and I've got a great comparison, and I need to pass that on to people. And I know that's difficult because my children look at me sometimes and go, "What, Dad? That ain't real." And I said, "No, it's not real to you now. But if this case scenario was to continue, where do you think, or what do you think it would look like if you was 58? So it's just that thought. I'm not saying it's going to happen or not happen, but it's just, yeah, possibly. Oh, God. Okay. So what do I do? And that's what I can try to bring to the party. I'm not an expert at anything. I'm a plumbing and heating engineer. Ask me about boilers. Probably tell you quite a bit. But yeah, it doesn't mean to say just because I didn't go to university to learn about money, I don't know about money. Well, I know a little bit about it, and I know a little bit more than what I knew 2 years ago. So yeah, that's cool. And I've got a great comparison between now and 30, 40, 50 years ago. Well, not 50 years ago, but 40 years ago. So yeah, if I can try and pass that on in a nice way and try and have a bit of fun with it on a Whiskey Wednesday day, then great. Oh my God, 30 minutes. This is a nightmare. That's going to have to split this up into a few parts. So I'll call it a day there. But that's what I want to try and do. That's a little bit more about myself. Have fun, look after yourself, take care of yourself. Cheers to everybody. I really don't do this every day, trust me, believe it. You could probably put a mark on that whiskey bottle. That's where it is now, right in the middle of the P. And I really do hope it's like that next Wednesday before I start. Anyway, yeah, that's me. Rabbled on for quite a bit. I've got some new stuff coming soon. Yeah, I'm into my watches. You can't really see it there. Sorry. Another thing I like to collect, I find watches and time really fascinating, albeit, boy, are they expensive. This one isn't, but some of them, mad, and I haven't got that money to spend on those sort of things. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So you might see a watch or two in my videos, but only cheapy ones. So, well, they're not cheap, but they're cheap in relative case to some of them out there. They're ridiculous, but still investments based on history, but we don't know about the future. Anyway, that's me done, dusted. Thank you for listening. Please comment if you can. Let me know what you think, and start to give me some ideas of what you'd like to hear my point of view on from across time. And I'll try and do it in a funny way and not too serious way on a Whiskey Wednesday. Just put on the comments, any comments at all, and I'll probably mention it through my videos now. Subjects for Whiskey Wednesday. It's getting to me already. Subjects for Whiskey Wednesday, and then your comment. You can put S, SF, WW, and then in the comment. And then yeah, we'll look at those, and I'll mention people's comments. And yeah, we'll have a bit of fun with it. But yeah, the most important thing is just take your time, be careful, educate yourself, look after yourselves, look after one another. If you've got a family, love them to death, and do the best you can. Take care. See you later. Cheers to everybody. Bye.